Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome back to the BFC Live. Happy Sunday to everybody. Daylight savings time. I'm still an hour behind. What can I say? Yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. If you think I'm not excited about this week, I am freaking stoked. We've been busy on the BFC. Thursday, we had Brett Rosen. Friday, we had JP Backwell with some great news. Saturday, I spent hours working on a project for GRPS, which you guys are going to see in the next week or so, and it's going to be awesome. We had a chance to actually try the shrimp from a TAA down there in Texas, and it was excellent. And we're going to release that review in the next week or so, so I can't wait to share that with you. But yeah, I'm absolutely excited. We have a great week ahead. We have a great couple months ahead. How are you guys feeling? This is a good Sunday crowd, and I love it. And I just want to say, apparently, we have doubled our amount of international viewers. So bravo to us. Where's Amsterdam? I know who Amsterdam is, by the way. I know who he is. Well, we know who that Amsterdam guy is. Sounds fishy to me. I don't know. A little Sunday coffee. Yes. All right. I think it's time we just get into this, huh? Let's get into this. My guest, Amsterdam. That's funny. My next guest, my only guest today, awesome guy, CEO of Auto Parts for Less, ticker FLES, Mr. Chris Davenport. Let's bring him in. Mr. Davenport, welcome back to the BFC. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. And it's great to see you again. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. It was great sitting down with you last time, and I'm glad that we're able to do these updates regularly for all of our BFC crew who are invested in ticker FLES. There was a lot of excitement over the last couple weeks. There's still a lot of excitement building. You're involved in a lot of stuff. So let's just get right to the nitty gritty. Can you share any recent developments or major announcements with us? Something that we could be here first here on the BFC.
I do actually. Thank you. Yeah, very excited. Last show we talked about our focus, and I put out an 8K about this about 6-7 months ago. What my focus was here was get the burn under control. We had a substantial burn going back to 2022, and then 23 it improved dramatically, and today it continues to improve. But also another big part of that is what I really feel, which is holding the company back from succeeding, or really. I think we're going to succeed no matter what, but I'd like to accelerate that success, and that's our balance sheet. So we announced in the last show that we removed what was over $7 million in convertible debt and put that into a preferred share structure with a lockup. So what I have to announce today is that we've moved another $1.2 million of convertible debt off the balance sheet into actually a common stock structure, which is great. And then also, not only that, which is huge, right? Another moving towards totally cleaning this mess up. But that also comes with a 2-year lockup.
Wow.
So pretty exciting.
2-year lockup.
Big, right? So 1.2 million.
That's right. Was that a tough negotiation? How'd that process go? How does that go?
Yeah, thank you. There were two groups who have been huge supporters behind the company, and they were really part of that failed NASDAQ effort. And they put a lot of, this is hard cash. Probably, together these two companies had upwards of, between what they had bought in the open market, and we would keep that share price above $4. And then also they'd lent the companies quite a bit of money. So one group was at $645,000 as part of debt, and they also had a little bit of some operating income in there too, debt in there. But also the other group was about $550 on this particular conversion. So they, ultimately they want to see the company succeed, and that's why they're willing to lock up for 2 years. They have a long-term vision for us and for our success. So it's really big. It's huge. Also, what that does is it increases the outstanding shares. I don't know if anybody noticed, but our outstanding shares went from 9 million to almost 80 million. Did you see that?
Oh, yes, I did. And actually, I noticed my DMs were blowing up, and people have been, they were taking screenshots of it. And I scratched my head, but I thought back to our last show, what you were trying to do. So automatically in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, he's trying to convert some debt and he's trying to bring it in. And I didn't think that you'd get a 2-year lockup out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is really good news, because this isn't going to impact the float. It's not going to impact what's out there floating around in regards to tradable shares. They're locked up for 2 years. So the float's the same. What is the float right now?
So I reached out to our transfer agent, and they're like, you have to contact OCC to update that. I contacted OTC. They're like, you got to send us $3,000. I'm like, okay, let me get right on sending you $3,000. And anyways, but yeah, I think it should really, our retail share investors see that I'm trying to protect the common investors. So that's my goal. And so with a 2-year lockup, and it's also risky for those guys, because, the price goes up, they win, the price goes down, they lose, but they're willing to ride this with us, and they share our vision for the future, and they want to be part of that success. And so hope that gives all of our investors confidence that they can continue to support us and not be destroyed by, these are restricted shares. And so it's designed to create confidence for our investors. So market cap obviously is greatly improved. We've only, that outstanding share, that's only one of the groups is in there. So once the other shares get issued, then that market cap will go up and the outstanding shares. So I think this is a huge win for everybody. So.
Yeah, this sounds like it. I'm very excited about this. We have a question from Amsterdam, our first international question of the day. Hi, Chris. Why did they choose for restricted common stock and not for preferred shares? Thanks for your time.
Yeah, so to be honest, I think this actually helps the company over preferred share structure. The outcome would have been probably the same, whether it's preferred or out. Also, when you do preferred shares, that it really benefits the insiders. And doing common, right? That's all these retail, they're riding this equally. So from a transparency standpoint, I think it's much better for everyone. When you do preferred shares, those really benefit that individual there's no dilution, there's no, they're protected. So these guys are totally vulnerable now. So the goal was, everything I do is to try to make sure that the retail investor sees how this benefits them, and just doesn't benefit these internal guys. So I think that's the main reason. Also, we had I was contacted by several supporters of the company on the retail side saying, hey, what's the current outstanding, because I'm up against the 4.99. So this instantly alleviates a lot of pressure that that guys didn't want to be reporting or considered an affiliate. So that helps them. And also our market cap was sitting at 200 grand. That's doesn't allow us to. It's pretty restrictive if you want to go do an S3 and S1. So now with 2.3, which will go up even substantially more once the other shares are issued. So hope that answers. That's a good question, Pat.
It does. And Thebes actually said, he was talking about that $3,000 that you had to pay the OTC. He goes, should be like $300. They get you for fees all the time.
Everybody's got to make a buck. So.
Filings. When I sit down with you guys, I hear some of the fees that you guys have to pay just to file just a one-page sheet. It's unbelievable. Lisa Matthews has a question. This is a question that was on the list as well. Do you know how many shares the note holders that have converted have left to sell in terms of share count, not dollar amount?
Well, I think that gets into the next section I want to talk about, which is where we're at with, who's selling, what's that look like, where's the company at with all of our debt. So when we came on the show 3 weeks ago and we had the big announcement, and the stock started running on Monday after the PR came out, the 8K came out, and then one particular seller just started just flooding the market with and just chopping everybody off. And it was really obviously very frustrating because I'm trying to build credibility, and I'm like, this is really short-sighted and frustrating. So that particular group had about $180,000. The last time I checked, they're down to $117,000. So they're going to continue selling. They're going to be aggressive. And to be honest, that's really the only group out there is really selling. I don't see a lot of other groups selling right now. So once that's gone, I think we're pretty blue sky. So that's the status of that. There was about 300 grand. So, and they're the only one that's really hammering with cheap shares, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but.
And they've been doing it for like the last week. So if we're a third of the way there, I'm assuming that this thing could go. They're gonna be selling all over probably over the next couple of weeks. If they're gonna sell as aggressively as they have been. I mean, if they want to give us cheap shares on this low float, this soon to be success, in my opinion, because I really like the stock. I like what you're doing with it, and I like your commitment to the retail shareholder right here. That speaks volumes for us because that's not always the case for an OTC company or a company in general. Sometimes they like to throw the retail under the bus. It's like they don't have to answer to those people. They have to answer to the people that have gave them cash directly. With those restricted shares, those are the people that usually get taken care of first. So for you to be doing this is really, really remarkable. Barry the Great has a question, and by the way, shout out to Barry the Great. And his question is, how many shares do insiders as yourself own?
So I have some common shares. When we were doing the NASDAQ, I had preferred shares, and those, as part of the NASDAQ uplist, those had to be converted into common shares. And so I'd have to. I don't really check this, to be honest. I don't even know if the shares have been issued to me, but as part of that process, my preferred shares were converted, and I believe my common share total is 700,000 shares. So tiny. As part of the recent movement of that 7 million in debt to a preferred share structure, I believe I got around 1,000 preferred shares. So that's my entire ownership in the company right now. From a stock, I haven't taken a salary. I've made that, my goal was to get the burn under control, and to do that, obviously, me taking a salary would impact that. And frankly, when you're burning as much cash as we are, I don't want to say I shouldn't be paid, but I don't know how appropriate it is to take out or even burden the company with a lot of cash as a salary. So I have not been paid since December of 21. So it's been brutal from a financial standpoint for me personally, but that's my commitment to the company, and that's my transparency. So I think, I'm excited for the future. I believe in this company. I wouldn't do this if I didn't believe in the company. And there's probably ways that I can try to monetize this in the future, get some more shares to myself, maybe do a leak out, a monthly leak out, or something structured that's transparent and gets me some cash so I can live.
Yeah, right on. Brett Young did have a follow-up, and I was going to follow up too. Actually, share count, not dollars, please. So how many shares left do those aggressive sellers have left?
So you may not understand this process. So when you do a loan, they get to do coverage. So let's say they have $100,000 loan. They can say, and it's a mathematical calculation, and they'll be issued 20 million shares, 40 million shares. And then what they have to do is when they want to do a conversion, they have to submit that request to the TA. So and I get an email notification when I see they're going to take shares and then sell them. So they have millions and millions of shares because as part of the contract in the convertible note, they have to have X amount of coverage. Now they have way too much coverage for what 100 million shares. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's a substantial amount of shares that they can cover the loan in the event that goes to quad 04 and we reverse. And so that's it's it's a lot of shares, but they'll never, in my opinion, unless the stock completely crumbles for some weird reason, they'll never use all those shares. And the moment this is paid off, they'll release those shares and they'll go back into the overall bucket of authorized shares. I hope that answers some of the inside process of the stock.
I mean, could you give us a timeline when you think could we call it the selling shit show? How, like a timeline of when you think that this should be behind us?
Well, so I was on the show about 3 weeks ago, and they had 180 grand. It's down to 117 grand. So I think and we're building an audience. We're just now getting in front of everybody to tell our story and why this makes sense. So maybe, the bigger the audience, the more retail buyers, the more those cheap shares will be consumed. Maybe we could clean all that up with aggressive buying in a week. I doubt it. More likely it's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, but who knows? Maybe it will go fast, or maybe it'll go slow. But we'll continue to keep executing, keep building excitement, keep building trust, and hopefully all those shares will be gobbled up, and this will get behind us, and then it'll be a lot of blue sky.
Yeah, and when I feel confident on the company, I have, and the term slap the ass, I have no problem doing that when I know that there are no notes, there are no restricteds that are becoming unrestricted and hitting the market. There's no convertibles. So that's fine for us as traders. We don't mind hitting that ask. But, once we know that we're just going to be dumped on, I like throwing bid support in for like something like this too. But because, I want the maximum amount of gains, obviously. So, and I think that the stock itself, and we're talking about the stock, is in a nice buying spot. Now, guys, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. I think we are in what is called the load zone for the stock. My personal opinion, not financial advice. You do you, but it's exciting. I think it's very exciting that this is an opportunity for us. But you saw how quick the stock moves. It's unbelievable. So we're enthusiastic about it, and we can't wait for the selling to be behind us. And it looks like we're in the middle of the crossroads right now. And so I think thanks for giving us that timeline and sharing that with us. Martin Miller, let's get right to this one. I guess we can. How are talks going with Brett Rosen? Any development on the horizon on this, or nothing imminent? Love that word, imminent.
So yeah, thank you for the question. I did watch Brett's presentation with you a few days back, and he mentioned that we've talked many times. We have a broker dealer that represents us, and that broker dealer is working with Brett, and he's working with our lenders to come up with a structure that's going to make Brett comfortable. And so those talks are ongoing. I'm optimistic that he loves the company, and I think he loves what we're building, and I think he wants to be part of that, and he needs to be comfortable that that the deal makes sense to him, and that he wants us to be successful. He wants to be successful, and he's done this many times, and he's want to make sure. So he has a structure that he is basically demanding, and so all the players have to agree to that, and I'm in agreement with it. So I want to get this done, and we need Brett. Frankly, we want to accelerate our sales. And so it's a process, and it's never fast enough for me. I wish this was done. So we'll just, we'll see. I'm hoping this week is the week, and we get this done. I hope that answers your question.
That's excellent. Arlex had a message for you. Chris, thank you for doing this right and being transparent and honest. Don't lose this path, and you will get far, my friend. So that's from my good buddy Arlex. Shout out to you. All right, let's get to another question. Anthony DeVideo, what are your expected 2024 revs, and how much will you be profitable? Are you going to achieve profitability? You did talk about that last time.
Yeah, so what I don't want to do is provide projections, because I know it gets you in trouble, I think. So what I can tell you is that we just closed out February. I just got the numbers. And these are not audited, right? An audit becomes with a K and a Q. So this is our internal numbers that get passed on to the CPAs, and they work all their magic. So February was a great month for us. Our final revenue number was around 70 grand. So that was up substantially from January. So we're up about 45% growth. So pretty significant. The burn sat at about, now this is the subsidiary. You got the parent company, which is the public entity. It has all the legal costs, CPA costs, and so on. But sitting at the burns down to about 13 grand total loss, which I think is impressive given in 22 we were burning 500 grand a month. Wow. So from 500,000 to 13 grand total net loss, I think is pretty awesome. So we're close. We're not there yet. But keep in mind, we just turned Lift Kits for Less back on, and that's going to be our primary revenue driver. And so this month, the numbers are very early, but we're tracking significantly this month over last month. But we'll see where this ends up. And obviously, if I'm hoping we're hitting it out of the park, and when I look at on the computer screen, it shows sales. This is the path it's showing. So I'm excited for the future. I'm happy with how the first kind of after officially launching. Keep in mind, this is really in some ways it's you want an amazing shopping e-commerce experience, and I think we've accomplished that. Our website, and I encourage people, especially on the mobile, to go to Lift Kits for Less and look at especially BDS suspension. BDS is the leading suspension, premium suspension company in America for lifting your Jeep, truck, or SUV. And what's unique about suspension is there's a lot of customization, and doing that on the mobile phone is not always easy. And we've perfected that shopping experience, and I'm very excited for that. So when you go and you look at a BDS configurable product, so you can look at the shocks, you can look at the control arms. And so when you select these options, the screen moves, and each product shows up. And our shopping experience on the mobile is second to none. It is literally the best shopping experience. And I will argue it's the best shopping experience for searching for or buying and configuring a lift kit for your Jeep, truck, or SUV. So I'm excited that's live. We also brought on the largest seller of suspension lift kits. They're on our platform. We haven't made an announcement about this. 10 years in the works to get them to give me the opportunity to sell their products. They're highly protective of their brand, and I'll probably put a PR out about that in the future. But they're a huge manufacturer, and we're loading those products right now. Wow. It's all configurable, so it's a heavy lift, so that so if you just list a product, single image, single SKU, click buy. That's easy. Any e-com website, Shopify, Adobe, WooCommerce, easy, right? So with suspension, specifically suspension, there is all these custom options, and it's difficult to make that flow cognitively and smoothly, and that's what we've perfected, and that's why I'm very bullish on Lift Kits for Less being really successful. And so you go from 40 grand to 70 grand, and now this month, I would not be surprised. And again, I don't want to be pumpy here, but I think on the low end we'll do 100 grand this month, and maybe we'll go from there. So, and I
mean, it's a bold statement that you're making, talking about your platform. That is huge. I mean, and you really stand behind it. Clearly,
we're a technology company, right? That's really what we are, and we've got this low overhead model, low capex model, and tons of revenue potential. The parts industry is big, 500 billion. And so when you look at our model, which is a marketplace connecting the largest part sellers in the world to a consumer or a business, and you look at Lift Kits for Less, and you look at all that combined, this is a $500 billion industry that has not been disrupted or united, if you will. And that's what we're trying. I think that's our mission here, is to bring the industry together.
And remind me, how many parts? 16,000?
So we started, like I said, when we talked was a week ago, we had 16,000. In the last week, we've added over 5,000 products. We're sitting a little over 21,000, just shy of 22,000 in 1 week. And those are for sale. We have a lot of controls in place now. 21 was a huge year for us, 16 million in revenue, but $5 million in refunds. So we took in $16 million in revenue and then handed back $5 million.
Wow.
That was catastrophic, all supply chain. But we grew so fast. We didn't have great systems ensuring profitability and watching margin on every single product. So today we do. We use a lot of technology and a lot of automation. So when an order comes in, it automatically sends that, it processes the orders automatically, puts in the tracking automatically. And so we're just in a much healthier position from an operational standpoint, from a technology standpoint. We're able to integrate with everybody from a technology standpoint. We're really, in the auto parts industry, we're at the top of the food chain when it comes to tech.
That's amazing. And I got to say, hey guys, we have almost 100 people watching live. And by the way, we broke a record last Thursday, 640 people watching live. I want to see what we hit 100 right now. I want to see 100 likes. Show some support for the BFC. Hit the like button. And guess what? We're on the verge of almost 2,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers. So let's get to that 2,000 mark. And I got to say, I'm going to get back to the questions, but I've interviewed a lot of people. You're one of my favorite interviewees because I could just see the passion that you have for what you do. So don't change. Keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be successful. And I want to go back to and I'm gonna Thebes. I will get to you in a second. Let's talk. Dan asked. I wanted to follow up about the revenue. You mentioned about breaking even. You just discussed that. You talked about lift kits for less. When profitable, will that profit go straight to add spending for the marketplace? That's what they want to know.
Well, that's a great question.
It is.
And I don't know if I've fully thought.
Good job, Dan.
So, look, our number one priority is to bring in an anchor investor and not play the games here where we're just, we should be doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue right now, period. We have a platform that can take, we have some of the largest sellers in the world, right? These are the most trusted brands in the world on our marketplace today. And we can leverage those brands and generate significant revenue. So, we have a tiny overhead model and with a big revenue potential. So I would like to be spending $100,000 a month on marketing right now. That's where every single dollar should be going. $200,000, $100,000, So you look at carparts.com or Car ID. These are publicly traded. Well, they used to be. Car ID is no longer public, but they're all sending about 10% of their total revenue on marketing. So if you're, $650 million, you're spending $65 million on marketing. So if we could spend $65 million on marketing with a 10x return, we're generating $650 million in revenue. That's this our entire cost of business is marketing. That's it. So yeah, every dollar I get, I want to spend on marketing. I'm sitting here let's go. Let's do it. We have a machine that prints dollars, and I want to make sure that's balanced with profitability or as close to possible, right? Growth is hard. You got to be careful with growth because it can devour your profitability, your cash flow. So I'm trying to balance all that out. And I think adding lift kits for less as a seller, it allows us to get a much larger margin so that all balances out into a blended revenue model. So Auto Parts for Less has 6.2 million products in its catalog. Is it astronomical catalog size? 2.7 million products in stock, 700,000 products in the time program, which means in stock, ready to ship same day. So again, these are the largest, most trusted brands. The entire marketplace is executed. So each seller controls their whole experience with the buyer, the refunds, all their sales. It's really an impressive machine. So I'm looking for an anchor investor to come in right now so we can blow this up. That's my focus. I don't hear you. Did I mute something? Did I lose you, Eric? Uh-oh. Due to technical difficulties.
Sorry about that.
Here we go.
There I'm back, baby. All right. Can't mute the BFC. No. Yeah, but I think I know who you're talking about is what I said. So, but we're going to get the Thebes. What do you do differently than, say, Auto Barn? Parts a tad cheaper, faster delivery. What can you say to that?
So we have two business models here, right? We have liftkitsforless.com and autopartsforless.com. And they really are divergent philosophies. Auto Parts for Less is a marketplace. So people are like, well, what do you sell on Auto Parts for Less? We don't sell on Auto Parts for Less. The sellers sell on Auto Parts for Less. We're the technology, we're the conduit connecting trusted sellers to a buyer. So when you look at marketplaces or platform technologies, these are highly disruptive business models. They are the largest companies in the world today. Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Flipkart, Instacart, Alibaba. And then you look at other platforms like Facebook, like Google, like Waze. These, when a new platform, a new player comes in and they take over a market, they typically own the market. And then once they achieve, they get what's called network effects. There's books written on this. Network effects are unique to platform technologies. Lift Kits for Less does not benefit from network effects. Car ID does not benefit from network effects. Car Parts does not. Chewy.com does not. Marketplace, meaning when more buyers join, that becomes valuable to the sellers, and as more sellers join, that becomes more valuable to the buyers, and you get a network effect, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and once it spins up, thing goes nuclear. You get exponential growth and exponential trust. So that's what we're building with Auto Parts for Less. So there's a lot of confusion on, well, do you compete with Rock Auto? Well, no, because we compete with Amazon, we compete with eBay because we're a marketplace. Rock Auto is a single seller. They do not benefit from network effects. They're not driving, they don't have sellers competing against each other to win the buy box. They're not competing to drive value to the end user. So it's a different shopping experience. It's a totally different concept. So it's a little education on marketplaces.
Yeah, we're going to keep getting to the questions. By the way, BFC fam has, or I should say BFC Nation, you coined that. The BFC Nation has great questions today. Actually, they always bring great questions. I have a great group. BFC fam, BFC Nation. I'm going to use that from now on. Barry the Great again. How many board members do you have, and who are they?
Yeah, so I'm the single board member. I have total control of the company. I'm open to board members. We're just, I took over control of the company in May of 2023. So I've been in this role for about 10 months. And that's the current structure. I have no employees. I have no W-2 employees in this company. So this is lean and mean. We have 3 international code teams we work with. So my life is 24/7. So I'm seeing all the messages in the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping. I'm watching or having meetings. So we're a tiny structural company. We're very fluid. Things move fast. We're able to execute quickly. Decisions are made quickly because I can talk to myself about what I think is best for the company. And I'm doing that in a very transparent way. And I hope that story resonates.
Excellent. All right. We're going to get to our next question. Martin Miller, on lift kits ramping up, given that you shut this down in the past because of the burn, as I understand, what changed that it can be close to being profitable now?
Yeah, so we had tons of employees. We don't have any employees. We had horrible systems in terms of what our actual margin was on every single product. We now track profitability per SKU. It's a lot of SKUs, but we're tracking our profitability per SKU. This is every aspect of a transaction. So if we're using a finance company and that finance company has a 1.5% fee, that's calculated. All shipping costs, the entire process from start to finish, we are calculating every aspect of that transaction. So I'm confident moving forward, we can do this profitably. I'm very excited for the early numbers for this month. Looks very attractive, significant growth, and we'll see where this falls out. We'll have an update in approximately 30 days from now, and we'll see if we can hit it out of the park. So I'm excited. Went from 16,000 products to 22,000 products in 1 week. We'll see how fast we can get that up to maybe 100,000 products in stock, ready to ship. Not a delayed drop ship model, but so yeah.
That's awesome. We're going to keep things going. Anthony DeVideo, do you think your revs are up 45% in February due to the lift kits, or did the snowy weather across the U.S. play a role?
I really just think it's tax season, and every year this is our normal sales cycle. So we'll see significant growth March, April,
Hmm.
May, and then it tapers off in the summertime. But with us continuing to add more and more parts and continuing to spend money on marketing, we're going to push to grow sales month over month, regardless of the sales cycle. So.
Excellent. Good question to video. Wiggles, good to have you. Time frame to capture the UTV market.
So we have huge UTV sellers on Auto Parts for Less. Huge. So we have a $2 billion, $3 billion international company. So we'll continue to build out Auto Parts for Less, making it the premier marketplace for auto parts only. And we'll continue to support all aspects of the auto parts industry. So it's marine, heavy duty equipment. It's the entire market, new, used. It's a great question. And, that's really our niche. We're not selling t-shirts. We're not selling socks and underwear. And, we sell transmissions. We sell bumpers. We sell parts, right? And that's a different marketing story. It's a story that's never been told. I mean, one piece of eBay's mouth is buy your Nikes. Another one is buy a transmission. So, our message is just all your parts here, simple, easy to use from the largest, trusted, most reliable part sellers in the world. So, and we've got some great UTV sellers, and they'll continue to join. Every week I have new sellers contacting, wanting to sell on Auto Parts for Less. I'm doing no marketing, none whatsoever. So it speaks to how auto parts sellers have been exploited by other marketplaces and how they're really looking for an alternative, because there has been no alternative to eBay and Amazon. And we are that voice.
Just imagine, once the marketing does uptick, I think you're going to see a surge. I think it could be huge. I know it could be huge. And by the way, I know you don't sell shirts, but we do. Get your BFC merch. Get it. Rob, put the merch store link in there. Guys, the quality of these products is great. So shout out to Rob and Sam for putting this together. Yes, get that merch. Use that link. And the hats are really nice, by the way. Another question from Mr. Dan. I'm just going to keep pounding these questions on you, and you could just have at it. This is great. The new lift kit brand you just mentioned, are you stocking/selling them or selling them on Lift Kits for Less as a marketplace?
Yeah, so Lift Kits for Less is not a marketplace. I'm the seller. I'm the only seller. I have all the lifting, all the shipping, all of the burden, if you will. That's why it's a divergent concept of a marketplace versus, an e-commerce website. So we have all that responsibility. We're clean. We're lean. We're working with a lot of what's called warehouse distribution across the country. It gives us access to 200,000 in-stock products across the entire parts industry. Well, not the entire parts, but a lot of the parts. So those are in stock, ready to ship, and that's what we're going to make available. And we feel that having a niche website like Lift Kits for Less is going to resonate with people, consumers that are buying for their Jeep, truck, and SUV. And like I explained, our mobile shopping experience is better than everybody else out there. You can fully customize that experience when you're building out your kit, and those images rotate, everything updates. It's a lot of lift from a technology standpoint, but we're winning. And I think we're going to have this month is going to be indicative of what we built and how we're going to leverage that technology to create consumer trust when they buy. So
great on. Hell yeah. And I wanted to ask about Matt Jaskell and that sponsorship. You had a sponsorship with him. Is that sponsorship still going on? And what could you tell us about your relationship with Matt?
That's a great question. So I got into go-karting. It's the different kind of go-karting than what you're probably think of as when you're a kid. These are high-performance little Formula One cars. You could kill yourself with these things. They're deadly. You go almost 100 miles an hour with no roll cage, and when they flip, it's not fun. So I started racing in my early 30s and grew up loving racing. Couldn't afford it. Grew up, obviously, like a lot of us, from lesser means. And so when I had the opportunity to go buy one of these $15,000 toys, I did. And during that process, there was this young and upcoming kid named Matt Jaskell, a little 13-year-old, and he was one of the top drivers in the country. And so we're in Las Vegas at our local track, and Matt was just a cool kid. The cameras are on him, the lights are on him, and there's a lot of attention around these young kids because they grow into these roles. You start young, and then and Matt got a huge opportunity after huge opportunity. It was the Red Bull Formula One feeder program. But racing at the end of the day comes down to money. And Matt's father's health started fading in sponsorship, although Matt's a great guy. And it doesn't matter how great of a guy you are, how talented you are, frankly, you've got to have a lot of money behind you to go in the racing business. So I've known Matt for years, and we've all just crossed paths, run into each other. And a couple years ago, he called me and said, "Hey, NASCAR's coming to town, and there's a particular NASCAR team that'd like to talk with us." And we go into the hauler, and you sit in this executive room at the top of the trailer, and it was really fun. And one thing led to the next, and we did a deal with that group and put Matt in the car. And I think we did 8 or 9 races with Matt and that group. And so it was a lot of fun and a lot of exposure. It creates a lot of brand trust, and we continue to leverage that brand trust. And, it's expensive. And right now we're not in a position to be out sponsoring drivers. And we've sponsored many drivers. We sponsored the liftkitsforless.com 250 at Darlington, where Sheldon Creed won that race. And then we turned around and partnered with Sheldon, did 12 races with Sheldon.
Wow.
In fact, that's this right here. The Sheldon Creed, he won the Darlington race in the playoffs. And I'm sitting at home and I'm watching my little brand pull into victory lane, Lift Kits for Less. And
wow,
it was pretty emotional for me because I was like, I can't believe this.
I mean, seriously, like to see that and witness that and see your brand coming down victory lane. What was it like?
Yeah. Like I said, it was really emotional. And because you grew up as a little kid and you watch racing on TV. And I mean, I grew up, single mom, that typical bootstrap American dream. And so, it was big.
Wow. Oh, congratulations. Late congratulations, but congratulations. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I got to say, like, you guys check out Matt Jaskell, look into him. Like, the guy's an adrenaline junkie. He really is. I mean, he does skydiving, racing, he does a bunch of stuff. So that's pretty cool that you have a strong partnership with somebody that's so into what they do. Passionate people are all over the place, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people that, are aiming for the same goals. I'm telling you, that's the key to success. You want to surround yourself with winners, not angry losers.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
It's so true.
Yeah. And to be honest, that's why I'm in this show, because I love what you're building. And me and you, in many ways, we're busting our butts. We're trying to convince our wives that this is going to work out. And, so yeah,
that's
so
it. She's so tolerant, and she's a great lady. And I know she's not watching. She's out hiking right now, but that's okay. I'm going to play this clip for her. And so there it is. I love you, babe. I love you. Let's get into some more questions. All right. Martin Miller, do you anticipate more of such a deal? If you could just backtrack a little bit in your mind, converting the rest of the convertibles into 2-year restricted commons in the near future, potentially.
I have one more group. I think they have about $180,000. I'm going to reach out to them, see if they'll go to the same program. I don't know if I'll put a PR out about that. Maybe you might see the outstanding go up, but I feel good about that. So that's another 180 off the books.
Do you think they'll bite? Do you think they'll bite on that?
I do. I think, to be honest, it'll go pretty smooth because they're associated with one of the groups that already did that. So, and so I think they'll follow along. So,
I mean, that would be huge.
Yeah, I'm telling you, moving 1.2 million in debt to straight common stock, that's big for everybody involved in this. And again, I think it brings trust to the overall vision for the future. And it shows that these two groups love what we're building, and they're willing to ride along and sit on the sidelines for 2 years and benefit. The stock goes to $1. They're sitting there going, they're like, can't sell, can't do anything. So this is good.
Yeah.
Good question.
And I think that it's going to be a nice battle, but you're going to get there. I do think you're going to get there. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but guys, I'm telling you, like when Brett brought the stock to my attention, I was like, wow. I mean, like, how is this not in dollars with what you guys are offering. And now that you're making these changes, you're taking care of the debt, you're really exploiting again lift kits for less, and you're increasing and marching towards profitability is freaking great. Seco, will lift kits be shut down again once the marketplace is fully marketed and bringing in desired revenues?
Yeah, like if I look out 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and Auto Parts for Less is the company I think it should be today, right? Multi-billion-dollar platform. Obviously we're not going to need lift kits for less. Maybe we would sell that off or use it to, maybe. So yeah, I hope lift kits for less goes away very, very fast.
Wow.
I really don't want to be operating lift kits for less, but it is what it is, right? If I have to go out and make my own company profitable instead of depending on, so that's that.
I mean, it's revenue producing. It's bringing in money. You know what I mean? So,
fast.
I mean, and you just added 5,000 more parts. I mean, like,
exactly.
I mean, why not?
It had a huge following. We got a 50,000 email database of buyers. It has close to $70 million in historic sales. So it's a nice, it's a nice business model. It's got great SEO traffic. We have a great presence. It's a trusted voice in the crowded Jeep truck and SUV market. But ultimately, the reason I wanted to build Auto Parts for Less was not just because I wanted to have a marketplace. It's because manufacturers are going direct. And ultimately, if you're a drop shipper, you can't compete with the manufacturer. You don't have the margin. That's why Amazon is now mostly manufacturers, because they're taking 50% of the margin. So I can't sell lift kits for less cannot succeed on Amazon. There is not enough margin to make lift kits for less work on that marketplace. And I saw that as a risk to my overall success. So I'm like, I'm going to be marginalized. Drop shippers are going to be marginalized out of the business. So I built Auto Parts for Less as a protection to ensure I could continue selling parts, what I love to do. So that's it was really a pivot in response to market forces. So lift kits for less, we're still good at what we do, right? Manufacturers still sell widgets. They're still really good at building widgets. They're not great at technology. They're not great at e-commerce, and we are. It's what we do better than most everyone. So I can still make the model work today, but as those manufacturers become more technologically savvy and they become better sellers, then lift kits for less becomes, I think, more and more marginalized. So,
got it. Great answer. Great question. Great answer. All right, we're going to get to this Amsterdam guy again. Chris, as soon as there's a deal with Brett Rosen, also the rest of the convertible debt will be removed from the balance sheet, or are those two different deals? Trying to get this clear. Thanks.
So we had 5 very large institutional lenders come into our deal when we were doing the NASDAQ. 2 of those groups have been locked up into a preferred share structure. That was the big PR with a lockup. The other 3 is what we're dealing with right now. I do not know what that looks like today. It could just be a standstill agreement. You just stand still for the next year. It could be a standstill with a preferred share structure. My only fear is that each one of these groups has multiple principals. And so one principal might have one vision. It becomes we have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And so I'm constantly trying to move the ball down the court, and it's just very time consuming. It's really what's slowing this down. It's just, could you guys make a decision? I'm like, let's just move this forward. So we'll see how quickly we can get those groups to commit to the Brett Rosen deal, if you want to call it that. So I think we're close. I think we could circulate a standstill letter pretty fast and just at least get this done, so Brett has a comfort level that he's not going to be exploited by these guys. These guys are big. They got a lot of debt. It's not, when I pulled up the sheet, we had about $9 million of convertible debt from a principal standpoint. We removed more than half of that. So really have maybe in principal convertible debt under 4 million. So it's not a huge number. Anyway, But when you look at all of the defaults and penalties and
Mhm.
this and that number is quite larger. So this number is somewhere between 5 million and 10 million, and depending on how you slice it. So,
And there's always certain clauses in the contracts, and basically, like, if you don't, I can, exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's 4 million, but in reality, it could be 5 to 10 million based on the agreement that was signed.
this is what I will say. Yeah, this is what I'll say. Everybody wants to get a deal done. Everybody wants this company to succeed. It's just, it's those fine points that we just need to get done. So I'm pushing as hard as I can.
Good. Awesome. Paul McKinney Art. Hi, Paul. Are there incentives you give to sellers through your platform that push and advertise to their customers for using auto parts for less?
So what's really unique about Auto Parts for Less is that typically when you launch a new marketplace, totally new marketplace, you have this what's called a chicken or egg. So how do you attract sellers and how do you attract buyers? If there's no buyers, why would a seller join? If there's no sellers, how does a buyer find a product? So what's unique about Auto Parts for Less, because of technology, we were able to attract from day one these huge sellers, and we paid them absolutely nothing to join. We gave them no discount. Our fee is 10%. That is what it is. Take it or leave it. And we've been charging that fee from day one. We didn't discount it to anybody. And so that speaks to the overwhelming demand for a parts only marketplace. I mean, typically, when you want to create a marketplace, you have to go out and spend all this money, one, to attract sellers, but you literally pay them to join. You're like, I won't charge you any fees. You'll get a 2 years, no fees. Please join. Please join. You're desperate. But we didn't have that. We weren't forced into that box. So it's very difficult to build a parts only marketplace because the catalog sizes are insanely large. Chewy.com has 100,000 total products, 8 billion in revenue. Lift Kits for Less is sitting at 6.2 million products, right? So the market size is huge. And then you have what's called a year, make, model fitment file that sits on top of that. It's very difficult to execute this. And it took us, 3-4 years to execute this, but that's built. It's executed. Is it perfect? No, we're a little over 1 year into this from our official launch in November of 22. So there's no incentives, we're just looking now to go and it's really a acquisition cost of a consumer to come to the marketplace. We just want to go out and spend money with Google, Bing, Facebook. It's just a go-to-market stage. That's where we're at today. It's go-to-market. How do you go out and acquire a customer? And I don't think that's really I think that would be difficult if you were in a crowded space like Poshmark. People that are trying to sell, like Macy's spent millions, I think $50 million to build out their marketplace, and $50 million, I can't even imagine, but it's crowded, right? They're selling the same exact products that you can find on Amazon, you can find on Sears. It's easy. You're not trying to build out a year, make, model fitment file and trying to make that process easy for sellers to join. But that's what differentiates us, is that we took something very, very difficult and we've streamlined that process. We've made it easy for sellers. And now it's just a matter of getting in front of buyers. And that's the opportunity. That's where we sit today. So.
All right. We're going to get to the next question. I got a couple more questions. All right, Anthony, the video again. How many new sellers join each week or month? How many products do they bring with them to the site? It's a good question.
Yeah. So I really am not looking for sellers right now. In fact, it's kind of it's because I'm consumed with trying to drive buyers at this point. So we have sellers who reach out to us. Right now we have 2 huge partners in this process. One is called SureDone and one is called Channel Advisor. Those are the largest holders of the largest part sellers in the world. And those are fully integrated connections. So if you're a SureDone seller, and what those companies do, they allow part sellers primarily for SureDone is parts only. Channel Advisor allows all part sellers, anybody selling, to connect to marketplaces. They streamline that process for a seller. So if you're a channel advisor seller and you want to join, we'll take those sellers. If you're a sure done seller and you want to join, we'll take those sellers. We're not really looking for any sellers right now. We have 6.2 million products. We have 2.7 million in stock products, 700,000 products ready to ship today. We are looking for buyers. That's where we're at today. And once sellers start seeing marketing, sellers are going to come. They want to be where the buyers are. And that's where we've won. We filled you got supply side, demand side. Supply side's full. Let's go drive demand. That's where Auto Parts for Less is today. Makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense. Brian has a question about AI. Can AI help your business?
Well, AI is powerful, and it's really, that's a big bucket. Well, can it help with search? Can it help with optimizing titles and optimizing data? So yeah, AI is amazing, and I think it's the future. There's a lot of research goes into what consumers are looking for and how they search, how they buy, what their habits are. AI would be an amazing opportunity, and we're using AI now. It's not. I think it's kind of overused. Oh, AI, yeah, but it's definitely the future, and I think there's going to be a lot of tools that come out that integrate AI and help all sellers, and help not just us but everybody sell more, and really it helps buyers have a better buying experience. So yeah.
All right, Brian, thanks for contributing. All right, one more question, and this has been guys, there's so much information here, and there's so much that you've shared with us. But got one more question for you. Besides the convertible debt, which of course has to be taken care of somehow, is the rest of the normal debt any concern to you anytime soon, or would that be easy to handle if the business does well?
I was trying to understand what normal debt means, but so we're solid. We're able to meet our obligations today. So everything is going well. We'll see how well this month turns out. So what I will say is these institutional sellers are not selling. They're currently, no one's selling. The only thing we have selling is that one relatively small group. So like I said, I think the current lenders want to see the company succeed, and they're looking and listening to getting the deal done with Brett Rosen. We'll see. I'm optimistic this will get done. I think that we've done everything that has been requested of us, and now it's just a matter of just everybody meeting in the middle and getting this done. So I'm hoping this is a big week for us. We need it to be.
Wow. I will be watching. We're all going to be watching. I'm rooting for you 110%. I think you're going to get there, and keep fighting the good fight, Chris. Seriously.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Thanks again. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, and we're gonna have you back on in 3 to 4 weeks for an update. So you're welcome anytime. And great questions from our guests today. All right, get this guy out of here. Get him out of here. Man, that was a very juicy interview with tons of information. The guy is completely transparent about the business. I can't see how this company doesn't really capitalize on the industry that they're serving. Seriously rooting for them. I'm a shareholder, and I'm very excited to see what the future brings for Chris Davenport and Auto Parts for Less. And obviously, there's going to be developments in regards to the debt and the partnership that may transpire with Brett Rosen, and I will be all over that, and I'll share information with you guys whenever that information becomes available. So, what do you think about Auto Parts for Less? What do you think about Chris Davenport? Put your comments in the comment section in the chat. I want to know your opinion. Are you a shareholder? Are you going to buy more shares? What's your vibe? What are you thinking about it? But yeah, smash that like button. We should have 154 likes right now. The BFC bringing DD from the source. That's what we do in the trenches of the trading world, talking with CEOs, management teams, traders, and tons of people. It's just good stuff. We're good stuff. I like what we're doing here. All right, there was a lot more that I wanted to cover today, but I knew that was going to be a very juicy interview, and that's why we're here. So let me, if you think I'm not excited about this week, like I said earlier, I'm freaking ecstatic. How many of you watched the JP interview from ILS, the JP Backwell? He was on the show Friday, And I got to say, I had an absolutely great time. The fact that I didn't interview him for a year, it was like, I don't know, like there was such a buildup, and now we finally got to hammer out a good 50 minutes of good guys. If you haven't watched a JP interview, you have to watch it. There's tons of information there. And I'm going to say a bold statement. They're going to the NASDAQ. How about that? And it's going to be awesome. And you heard it here first. Now, I've been preaching on that stock for the last couple years. JP, very sincere individual. I really appreciate him coming on the show. I like people that are passionate about the industries that they serve, about the products that they're doing, about the business deals that they do. That goes that to me is huge. I want to see passionate people. I want to work with passionate people. I try to surround myself with people that have a desire to succeed and are passionate and they have conviction about their beliefs. That's how I am. And what does the video say? Imminent. Damn right it's imminent. And I'm going to say that right here. No. Hey, I'm the one that invented the eyeless timeline pills, just for the record. I'm out of those, by the way. But yeah, it's JP is the man. Absolutely. Hell of a lot closer than you think. Now, I want to actually play a clip, two little clips, because it's sort of funny because I almost sabotaged my my interview question. The biggest question I had in the interview. I know that was a question that you guys wanted me to ask, and I went off on a tangent, and he actually corrected me. He's like, "Yeah, I still have to answer that part of the question," and that's that was a good moment, and I still laugh about that. So check out these two clips. Let me know what you guys think. All right, now I got to ask this question. This is something that's been at the forefront of everybody's brain. How close is ILS to directly uplisting to the NASDAQ? If and when this does happen, will there be a recurring dividend or will it be a one-time dividend? What can you tell us about all the buzz that's been going around about ILS uplisting to the NASDAQ?
Yeah, very close. A hell of a lot closer than you might think. So, yeah, I don't think I can really say much more than that.
Is that my soundbite for the whole interview? Hell of a lot closer than you think. Check out this. Hope it is sooner than later. And you know what? I want to see who's along for the long haul because you guys are just getting started. And I want to finish with this question.
Yeah, well, let me. You haven't answered about. I haven't answered about the recurring dividend and.
Recurring dividend. Oh my God, I'm sabotaging myself here. Getting all jacked up here.
I've got to make sure I answer your question, Eric. So, look, it's certainly a lot closer than anyone might think, and that's due to the business combination structure and a sign and close model. So that is certainly very exciting. As I mentioned, had we known this back in 2021, 22, 23, we would have done things very differently back then. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. Here we are. We're in a good position now. So as I said, it's close. In terms of recurring dividend or one-time dividend, to answer that as best I can, shareholders, I believe, would have their shares prorated and registered in the NASDAQ company. So that's effectively the first part. But then following that, we operate as a public company that is able to issue dividends on a recurring basis. And that would be obviously dependent on deals being done. It would be dependent on assets being spun out. Remember our strategy, right? We always intended to spin out assets also into NASDAQ vehicles, right? And now that we know how to do that with these business combination structures, if I can call, or business combination structure, if I can call that, we can continue to repeat the process.
While ILS going to the NASDAQ is a huge freaking catalyst, while it is, let's not forget the long-term goal here. And they really, he's made it clear. Dividends. They're going to get they're pushing all their subsidiaries. Don't forget about QID. They're working in that to try and get that to the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. I'm sorry. And we're talking SAML. They're going to do the same thing there. They're building growth. And so if you're thinking like, oh yeah, they're going to the NASDAQ, boom, 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 yada, 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 that's it. That it doesn't stop there. And I brought this up in the interview that Nick mentioned this at the shareholder meeting. All right. The first one, He's not building a business for 2 to 3 years or whatever. He's building a business for generational wealth. That doesn't happen overnight. It's easy for us to get shell shocked by the share price. I mean, they're not the only stock where that happened, where it was pumped up to high hell in 2021. And I'm not creating excuses, but that's really what happened. Let's be real. And now they're putting up numbers that, we couldn't dream of back in the day. And, it is what it is, but they're building a business. Nick said, I'm building something for far beyond 5, 10, 20 years. And he said in that interview, JP said in that interview, we have businesses that are going to be around long after we're gone. That's the mindset that they're going for. Building something sustainable and building something that is a household name. And it's going to take time because business takes time. And you know what? That isn't the trader's perspective. And I understand that they want when moon. I get when moon. But, the whole purpose of being a publicly traded company is to get funding for your business. And they're doing a hell of a job. Hell of a job. And I'm very excited about it. Like Lisa Matthews says, recurring dividends. I now own 1.3 million shares. I said I was going to double my position, and I did. And I just doubled it again. So either I'm the OTC's biggest idiot or I will be successful. I hope all of you are successful, no matter what. So you do you, not financial advice, but we've been waiting for this a long time. So we're already an hour into this. I wanted to talk about a couple other things too. And just briefly, let me just do a little screen share here. Mm-hmm. All right. Rob, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the thing you hate. 100 me's. All right. Can you guys see that? I want to know, can you actually see that? 1 second. Computers froze. Stand by. What the hell just happened? Something just happened. All right, guys, my computer just completely froze. So I don't know whether or not you guys can still hear me. Rob, if you can, shoot me a text because I can't even get to StreamYard right now. But I'm going to keep talking as if you can hear me, and I'm just going to share with you some of the information that that I've just been watching and taking in. All right, first, I did want to talk about ticker BLEG. They sent me some of their product. It's a great product, and maybe you're watching this right now. I'm not sure if you're able to see this, but don't forget they're completing an acquisition, an LOI for Sycamore Biopharma. All right, $2 million in assets and $500,000 in high quality ready to sell inventory. I've been trying to latch up with David Oswald for a couple weeks now. He is busy. He's moving and grooving, and either he or somebody from the company will be setting out a they will be sending somebody on the show to see, here I am. That's so funny, to be on the show to answer your questions. Man, I don't know. My literally, guys, right now my computer's making all kinds of weird noises and like the fans running. So man, that's what happened. This thing's on fire. All this great news from Chris, all the great news from Ilis, all the great news. I mean, like, you guys broke my computer. What the hell? Wait, here's Rob. What's up, Rob? Whoa, no, get out of here. Get out of here. You know what he goes? He goes, close some tabs. Yeah, I am that guy at work that has a billion different tabs. So there's that. And so another company I wanted to talk about is Impact Fusion International. We've been on this one since 1-2 cents, right around there. The thing went on a tear, and I think it's in a consolidation point right now. There has been some selling. I do think the 7 to 8 price is great. And these guys are serving the cattle industry. And I'm going to play a video for you that is so crazy when you put it in perspective, especially when in regards to all the wildfires that happened in Texas recently. These guys are needed in the industry. And by the way, I wanted to say that they relaunched a Nutramastic. I'm going to be buying this product. I'm going to be trying it and giving a review on it. So they had right here on February 29th, we are excited to announce that Intact Digest and Intact Endurance can now be pre-ordered for delivery at the beginning of April. So, I plan on having Mark on for an update. That's another guy that is passionate about what he does. Like, holy crap. Seriously. Like the company this is going to be huge, and it's going to transform the cattle industry. It's going to save ranchers millions and millions of dollars. So yeah, you could go through. I'll put the links to these in my Twitter and on the YouTube in the description once this stream is done. But it's just crazy. Go on it, impactfusionbrands.com, and do some due diligence. Nice website. But let's get to this video. I just want to share this with you. It's a brief video. Check it out. Hmm. Hmm. All right, so I mean, I don't know. That stock has me absolutely no sound in the video. Oh, damn it! Damn it! Damn it! What the heck? Oh well. You know what? I'll actually post a link for that so that way you guys go watch it. But it's a great video nonetheless, and I'm gonna get that thing out of there. Eric just giggling to himself. Hey, laugh it up! Laugh it up! You're funny. No, but that's that's good stuff. I'm gonna post the link. Actually, I'm gonna put the link right so you guys could actually watch it. I don't know what the heck is happening here tech wise today, but nothing major. I probably didn't click the share sound video, but anyways, check this out. Click on that. Check out the video. It's awesome. Basically, long story short, Impact Fusion International is needed. Farmers need it. The ranchers need them. They're going to save a lot of money. And producer Rob facepalm. Yep. That's it. Hey, that's okay. That's all right. That will not be the first. That isn't the first, and it won't be the last technical gaffe on the Buffalo Flyers side. So, all right. So I did want to talk about BLEG. Very excited for what they have going on, especially with that pending acquisition. Impact Fusion International is going to be huge. It's going to be a massive stock. And the company is doing awesome things. And I can't wait to have Mark, another passionate CEO, back on the show. But that's really all I got. This has been awesome. This was a really informative session with the BFC. Yes, BFC Gremlins. Maybe that's it. Hey, on a positive, the computer stopped humming, so that's a good thing. Yeah, bloopers are fun. Oh, they are. Let's save it for the end of your gag reel. All right, and you know what? There's a bunch of other stocks I know that we're waiting on. I know you guys are waiting on CYBL. Right there. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath for anything. I'm just along for the ride. There's a couple other CGRA. I think that one's very undervalued, and I know I haven't talked about that one a lot, but look at the recent PRs in regards to their findings in their mining areas. It's really, they're undervalued. So I think that one's a buy too. And IGPK. I'm going to focus more on IGPK this week. I'm going to get some more DD out there. Stock Picks NYC, Master Picks, and a bunch of others have been sharing a ton of information on IGPK, and we're literally on the cusp of that thing launching to the stratosphere, in my opinion. And that's a BFC gem at 0007. But I already took back my initial investment, so now we wait. Now we wait for company communication, and we wait to see numbers, and hopefully this week and next week we'll see a flood of PRs, and they get the OTCIQ access, and then we could say game on. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think IGPK is gonna. I think that things are just brewing for some of these stocks, and we're in the right place at the right time. And hell, after 2023, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Let's get it. Game on. Game on, I say. All right, that's all I got. I hope you guys have a wonderful freaking day. I do. I don't know. Access this week? Maybe. That would be great. That'd be awesome. But I don't want to speculate too much. I want to see things, done. I want to see things done. The new bull run is coming. I could feel it. I'm excited. I'm excited. That's all I got. I'm done. I could just keep going on and on and on. But we had a great guest today. And I hope you guys got something out of it. I appreciate all of you. If you're not subscribed to this channel, we're just getting warmed up. We're not stopping. 2024 is the year of the BFC. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share this content. And when you see somebody coming on, throw a question in the chat, because this show is for you. Due diligence from the source, DD from the source. And that's what we're going to do here. And we're going to keep continuing to do it. So that's it. I'm out. And remember, there's more that binds us than breaks us. Peace out, guys.